Okay, I want to share the story of Hosea and Gomer, and this story blew my mind. I love it. I was just enthralled by it. It starts off with the Lord commanding Hosea to get a wife, and not just any wife, a wife of whoredoms, someone who has departed from the Lord. A little bit of a strange request. And then, so Hosea has three kids with Gomer, one that's named Jezreel, which stands for bloodstained, another named Lo Ruhama, which stands for no mercy, and Lo Ami, which means not my people. So we're off to an interesting start. Hosea's got a wife of whoredoms and three kids, all of which have names that are really rough. And then through Hosea, the Lord says, I will not have mercy on her children, because she shall follow after lovers, but not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but not find them. Then shall say, I will go and return unto my first husband, for then it was better with me than now. And that has a lot of similarities with the story of the prodigal son and how he returned. And the issue is Gomer just went out after worldly pursuits, essentially, and also in literal sense, a number of other lovers that gave her bread, water, wool, flax oil, and drink. At least that was the promise, but she never actually got those promises. It was empty. It was a hollow pursuit. And the Lord then says he will be merciful to her. And she even gets, she gets owned by the slave owner, essentially, who the Lord commands Hosea to go and pay off in order to get her freed. And it's at that point the Lord really shows his mercy for her. And the interesting thing is, one of the most famous sayings is in Hosea, where it says, for they have sown the wind and shall reap the whirlwind. It hath no stalk. The bud shall yield no meal. If it so be yield, the strangers shall swallow it up. And I've always heard that saying, but never really understood what it meant. And as I've studied this, I realized that the point of it is, if you sow up something that is like wind, which is empty and it's hollow, but it can be powerful, and it will turn into a tornado. Normally what we want to sow are seeds and good righteousness, but if we sow the wind, we're going to get a tornado in our life. And that's often how these worldly pursuits pan out. We'll start to think, it'd be great to acquire this or be better at somebody than that. And that's essentially sowing the wind, because it ends up being a false promise. So he then talks about how he's going to heal Israel's backsliding. And he clearly makes this analogy that Gomer is like Israel, or the children of Israel, in the sense that they followed after these false gods. They ended up being false pursuits, or pursuits that had no truth in them at the end. And then the Lord, in his mercy, comes and pays off the slave owner that has Gomer in shackles. And there's a number of really powerful paintings. I like this one the most, because clearly Gomer is hurt through these experiences, but the Lord is always there to receive her. And what's amazing is, at the end of it, the Lord changes the names of Hosea's children, but not Jezreel. And Jezreel is interesting because that's the one that meant the blood, or a blood-stained land. And in a sense, Jezreel and the blood is still required, and that's what Christ's atonement and his blood and sacrifice represent. But these others do get changed. So Lo Ruhama loses the Lo and goes by Ruhama, which means one who has experienced mercy. And then Lo Ami loses the Lo and goes by Ami, which means you are my people. So here we have the symbolism of the atonement. The blood is still there. and it's the blood of Christ that is required. But as that blood is shed for us, the experience we have in our life is mercy, and the experience that the Lord has is gaining a people, and we become His people. So I love the story of Hosea. It's amazing. And thanks.